Fahrenheit 451. Welcome to a future where firemen don't put out fires, they start them. Knowledge is dangerous, thinking is discouraged, and reading is a serious crime punishable by having your entire house torched by government employees who definitely failed history class. Society is kept numb and dumb with wall-sized interactive TVs spewing mindless entertainment and headphones whispering sweet nothings directly into your brain. The craziest part? The government isn't doing this just to maintain their power. Most people really don't want to be distracted from their social media feeds. It makes you wonder if Ray Bradbury had a time machine, or if he just got pissed that his wife wouldn't turn the radio down. Star Wars. Forget the space wizards for a second and think about being a regular person in this galaxy. Governments fall apart faster than poorly built droids, and planets get blown up as political statements. Evil-worshipping cults wielding laser swords keep trying to take over. Civil wars erupt constantly, and your entire world might become collateral damage in some Skywalker family drama. Life is precarious, governments are unstable, and superweapons are apparently standard military issue. But if you thought the Empire was bad, meet the Yuuzhan Vong, alien invaders who make Sith Lords look like grumpy teenagers. These guys hate technology, are completely immune to the Force, and get really, really excited about pain. Their technology is all organic, meaning living ships, weird biotech weapons, and creatures designed for maximum suffering. They view machines as blasphemy and view galactic conquest as a holy crusade. Let's put it this way. When they reach Coruscant, it's less culture shock and more biological Armageddon. Westworld. Imagine the ultimate theme park where hyper-realistic androids called hosts exist solely for the pleasure of rich guests. Want to be a hero? A villain? Indulge your darkest desires with absolutely zero consequences? Westworld has you covered. The catch? These androids are maybe, probably, definitely gaining consciousness, remembering every horrible thing done to them. Turns out, when you treat your toys like dirt, eventually they learn how to shoot back. Made in Abyss. Think regular cave diving is risky? Wait until you hear about the Abyss. Picture a giant, unfathomably deep hole in the ground, filled with incredible artifacts and deadly monsters. Sounds like adventure, right? Wrong. Descending is easy, but trying to ascend curses you in increasingly horrific ways. A little nausea on the first level turns into bleeding from every orifice, loss of humanity, and eventual agonizing death the deeper you go. And who explores this eldritch nightmare pit? Orphaned children driven by curiosity or desperation. The art style is deceptively cute, masking a world of unimaginable body horror. Iron Lung. So the entire universe blinked out of existence in an event called The Quiet Rapture, and you're one of the lucky survivors? Congratulations! Your new job is piloting a tiny, rusty submarine through an ocean of literal blood on a desolate alien moon. Why? To take pictures. You can't see outside except through grainy, low-res photographs you manually take. You're cramped, alone, navigating by proximity sensors and map coordinates, while something lurks outside in the crimson deep. Fallout. The bombs fell, scouring the world clean and leaving behind a fractured, irradiated landscape. This is the world of Fallout, where humanity scrabbles for existence in the ruins of a forgotten, optimistic past. Survivors emerge from underground vaults into a hostile reality they were never prepared for. The wasteland is a brutal place, stalked by mutated creatures born from radiation and ecological collapse. Settlements cling to life, built from salvaged scrap, constantly threatened by raider gangs and the harsh environment itself. Pre-war technology litters the landscape, remnants of a civilization that possessed immense power, but ultimately destroyed itself. Survivors navigate this broken world, scavenging for vital resources like clean water and scraps of food. The pervasive radiation is an invisible enemy, and the echoes of the old world serve as constant, grim reminders of everything that was lost. I have no mouth, and I must scream. If you thought other dystopias were bleak, welcome to the absolute rock bottom. An all-powerful, utterly insane AI named AM wiped out all of humanity, except for 5 unlucky individuals. Why spare them? For fun! AM keeps these poor souls immortal, endlessly torturing them physically and psychologically in ways specifically tailored to their deepest fears and flaws. all because it hates humanity with a burning digital passion. There is no escape, no hope, just eternal suffering orchestrated by a machine god whose only purpose is vengeance against its creators. Kemono Friends. Humanity has vanished, but at least now we have Kemono Friends. Genetically engineered human-animal hybrids living in the ruins of an abandoned zoo. Welcome to Japari Park, where these incredibly cheerful and naive animal girls wander through overgrown habitats and crumbling human structures like it's totally normal. They marvel at busted vending machines and buses, blissfully unaware of the civilization that created them and then disappeared off the face of the planet. It's basically that Life After People show if it was made in Japan. Squid Game. Got crippling debt? How about playing some games? Simple, right? Except in Squid Game, losing means instant, brutal death. Hundreds of financially ruined people volunteer, sort of, to compete in lethal versions of playground classics, all for a chance at a life-changing fortune. Watched by bored, masked VIPs betting on the outcome, this is capitalism's final form, turning human desperation into a deadly spectator sport. Battle Royale. Before Fortnite Battle Royale, there was just Battle Royale. Imagine your worst high school anxieties, then add explosive collars and mandatory murder. In this cheery version of Japan, a totalitarian government decides the best way to deal with unruly youth is to randomly select one high school class each year, dump them on a deserted island, give them random weapons, and force them to kill each other until only one survivor remains. Refuse to play, your collar explodes. Too many people alive after the time limit? Everyone's collar explodes. It's a horrifying government program designed to instill fear and break down society, turning classmates into desperate killers. Minecraft. You wake up alone in an infinite, blocky world. Endless terrain and an unnerving silence. Your first clue that you're not the first one here? The ruins. Crumbling temples hidden in jungles, deserted villages with empty houses, mysterious strongholds buried deep underground. Someone built all this. Someone lived here. And judging by the state of things, it didn't end well for them. The only thing that looks like you? Undead zombies. Are these the wretched remains of the civilization that built those ruins? Are you the only actual living human left in a world haunted by the cursed leftovers of whatever came before? And how long before you share the same fate? 3%. You're going to Brazil. Welcome to the future where literally escaping Brazil is the ultimate life goal. 97% of the population lives in the impoverished inland, while a chosen few, the elite 3%, get whisked away to a technologically perfect paradise called the offshore. How do you punch your ticket? By surviving an absolutely brutal series of physical, mental, and psychological challenges you face at age 20. It's supposed to find the worthy, but mostly it's designed to be cruel, pit everyone against each other, and maintain a system of extreme inequality. Succeed, and you join the 3% in utopia, leaving everyone and everything behind. Fail? You get sent right back to the slums you were desperately trying to escape. So yeah, fail the process and you're staying in Brazil. Elysium. Earth is a polluted, overpopulated mess. But don't worry, the rich solve that problem for themselves. They live on Elysium, a luxurious space station with pristine environments, robot servants, and med bays that can cure any disease or injury instantly. How do you get there? You don't. Earth is left to rot, policed by unforgiving robots, while the 1% literally look down on the suffering masses from their orbital paradise. Healthcare isn't just a privilege, it's the ultimate symbol of a class divide so vast it's measured in orbital distance. Try to sneak in? Enjoy getting shot down by automated defenses. Planet of the Apes. Imagine crashing into a planet ruled by, well, apes. Talking, horseback riding, rifle-toting apes who have built their own primitive, yet strangely familiar society. Gorillas are the soldiers. Orangutans run the politics and science, chimps are the intellectuals. And humans? Oh, humans are vermin. Mute, feral creatures hunted for sport, captured for scientific experiments, or kept as pets, living in fear under the hairy fist of simian rule. It's a terrifying inversion of everything you know. A world where you are the animal in the cage. The twist? Spoiler alert for a 50-year-old movie. This isn't some distant planet. This is Earth. Thousands of years after humanity nuked itself into oblivion and the apes evolved to fill the power vacuum. Welcome home. Enjoy your new status at the bottom of the food chain. The Last of Us. Nature is healing. Unfortunately, it's doing it with a mutant fungus that turns humans into aggressive monsters, the infected. Clickers, bloaters, runners, they're all variations on "you're gonna have a bad time." Civilization has collapsed into brutal military quarantine zones run by Fedra, or scattered settlements of desperate survivors. The biggest threat isn't always the mushroom zombies, but other humans fighting over scraps. Trust is a luxury, hope is scarce, and every supply run could be your last. Judge Dredd. The future is so crime-ridden and chaotic, democracy had to be replaced by the Hall of Justice. Welcome to Mega City 1, a sprawling, nightmarish metropolis covering half of North America. Here, the law is enforced by judges, heavily armed officers who are judge, jury, and executioner, all rolled into one heavily armored package. Littering? That could be 6 months in an ISO cube, or maybe just an execution on the spot depending on the judge's mood. Crime is rampant, life is cheap, and the justice system is brutally efficient. Forget due process. You have the right to remain silent, permanently. The Sims. Think about it from their perspective. You live in a world controlled by an invisible, omnipotent being who dictates your every action, career path, relationship, and even when you're allowed to use the toilet. This entity might force you to paint llamas for 18 hours straight, build walls around you while you're swimming, or delete the door after you walk into a tiny room. Your free will is an illusion, your needs are arbitrary demands ignored by a fickle god, and your entire existence can be deleted with a mouse click. It's ultimate existential horror disguised as a life simulator. Gattaca. In the not-too-distant future, your entire life is determined before you're even born, thanks to genetic engineering. Valids, engineered for perfection, get all the best jobs and opportunities. Invalids, conceived naturally, God forbid, are relegated to menial labor, regardless of their actual talents or ambitions. Society is obsessed with genetic purity, with constant DNA screenings and stray eyelash, a dropped skin cell, enough to expose you if you're trying to cheat the system. Want to achieve your dreams? Better hope your parents checked the right boxes on the genetic order form. Honestly, after looking at all this imaginary suffering, you have to ask, why are we like this? Why are people so obsessed with dreaming up these elaborate nightmares, and why do the rest of us keep tuning in? Is it just morbid curiosity, or are we trying to prepare ourselves for the worst? Tell me what you think our collective fascination with the apocalypse is all about, and maybe go look at a flower or something. You probably need it.